Hi, everybody. This is Joe Calderone. It's another edition of Coach's Corner. Joining us now, Chris Canada, the head coach of the UAlbany women's softball team here. And, Coach, it's been a while since we've talked. In fact, 2 weeks ago today since we talked. You're just coming off that Winthrop Invitational, played 5 games there, went 2-3. We were joking around about, like, okay, now you finished this Invitational up, and now you're back on the road for, like, 9 days going from Delaware to Florida, 12 games in 8 days. How are you going to do it all? You did all right. Okay, starting with the, and I think that's one of the most understated things I've ever said. You started the Delaware Spring Invitational, 4 games, Delaware, North Carolina AT&T, and Villanova. You go 4-0 in that invite. Were you thinking, hey, you know what? We could go 4-0 in this?
Well, I was hoping we could go 4-0, but you know, we played pretty well that first weekend. Long days on the field. It was a long weekend after a long trip, so I was happy with the way we played. But coming out of there 4-0 was a good starting point for us.
Sure. Besides the obvious highlight of going 4-0 in that tournament, Elizabeth Snow, Player of the Week. Not surprised, right?
Yeah, she had a monster week and weekend for us. So she was just tearing it up, hitting, and she had a couple of really big hits, home runs for us to get us back into games and win the games for us. So she did really well, except for then we told her she was Player of the Week when she was coming back from urgent care with her arm in a sling. So that's a bit of a downside to the Player of the Week, but we're hoping to get her back pretty soon.
And besides, listen, you don't go 4-0 in an invitational just because of one player. Was there maybe another player or two who also had a huge series for you?
Well, we got better pitching, so that was big. We got some pretty well pitched games, and we really were like, it was a different kid almost every game, so that's what we're hoping for all the time, that we're tough 1 through 9 in the lineup, and we were.
After that, it's back on the road. You don't even get a chance to come home. You go from Delaware, then it's down to Florida.
Then it's 12 hours in the Philadelphia airport with delayed flights.
See, this is stuff that you don't get anywhere else but UAlbanySports.com.
Division I softball, yes, that's what it is.
So you go from Delaware, and then you got to wait 12 hours here and there.
Yeah.
Spring Rebel games, 8 games, 4 days. They're all doubleheaders.
Yeah.
And again, you didn't do too shabby.
Yeah,
6-2 at the Spring Rebel games. You have to be feeling really good on this road trip. Again, 12 games, 8 days. Overall, you go 10-2. And the 2 losses you had in Florida, those are games you could have won. You lost 2-0 to Indiana State, and then you lose 5-4 to Bucknell.
Yep.
At this point right now, and we'll talk about the games you got coming up in a little bit, but now you've got 21 games. That's a pretty good sample size. You're 13-8 non-conference. You're going to be playing Hartford coming up. Is this a team, and I'm not going to try to twist your arm to toot your own horn here, but you've seen enough. You've got the pitching. You've got, the 7 ladies in your lineup that are hitting 300 or better. Is this a team that could be one of the favorites to win the America East this year?
Oh, well, I don't know if we're going to go there with the favorite thing just yet. That's kind of a jinx.
Sorry.
But, we were happy with the way that we played all week. It was more about how we competed. It was definitely a tough schedule, challenging-wise, that many games.
I know you said you were crazy for doing it, but
yes.
In hindsight, though, all kidding aside, you feel, you scheduled it and you go 10-2, so you got to feel good about it.
I feel good about it now. Like 6 or 7 games in, I was really starting to question myself a little bit, but now that we've had a few nights sleep, we're back to feeling normal again. Yeah, it was a good trip for us. We played hard in 11 of those games. It was like one game where we played flat, and it happened to be a game we actually won. But that's more what I was looking for, how we were going to compete when we were tired, how we were going to compete when we were banged up, how we were going to compete when we had people moving all into different spots and playing different positions and people coming off the bench. And that's what we were looking to find out, how are they going to respond to that. And They were great, and I couldn't have asked for anything more than what I saw out there. Trust me, there were some pretty ugly innings in those 12 games that, that we need to work on things, and that's what we're trying to do now to get ready, clean things up, and get ready for conference. But, the way that they played and the way that they competed, we couldn't have asked for anything more.
We already talked about Liz Snow and her Player of the Week award coming out of that Delaware Spring Invitational and her arm in a sling. And now you get Pitcher of the Week from Devin Durando, who was 3-0 in the Spring Rebel games. I mean, how impressed were you? Obviously, she goes 3-0, ERA under 1. You had to be extremely happy with her performance.
Yes, she is starting to look a lot more like herself. She had a rough go of it at the beginning and was having a hard time finding the strike zone and was getting hit when it was in the strike zone. So she looked a lot better and more like herself. So we're just going to build on that. And we got pitching pretty much from everybody that stretch, and we had to, back to back to back. We were like, go warm up. We need you to finish this game. Sometimes we used all 3 in one game. It was so
whatever you got to do.
Whatever we got to do.
The win.
That's right.
And again, you guys did an unbelievable stretch. 10-2 in 12 games on the road. Now you're back home, but back on the road, not as far.
Not as far.
Okay, you're opening up America East, play against Hartford. It's a program you see every year, a few times every year. What do you got to do to win this series on the road in Hartford this weekend?
Well, obviously, the conference is, what we're playing for, so they're going to be up for it. We need to be up for it. They've been playing much better as of late. They had a big win. I think they beat Georgia Tech last week, so it's going to be tough. They've been playing some tight games, so they're getting pitching. So we're going to need to keep the bats going and hit their pitchers and just chill out and be calm when we're playing, because we have a lot of inexperienced people out there playing. We have a lot of freshmen playing, and we have people playing in. We probably most of the week last week we probably only had about 2 or 3 people on the field that were in those positions last year. So that's a lot of inexperience out there, and that we need to work through.
That was going to be my last question, but now I have one more, and it's based off what you just said. How pleased are you? Listen, it doesn't matter if you had vets out there. Anyone would be happy with playing 12 games on the road in 8 days and be 10-2 in those games. But the fact that it is with a younger lineup and roster, that has to be a pleasant surprise for you, right? Or not?
It was, yeah. They definitely compete. I mean, like I said, there was some ugly stuff going on, but we tried to coach them through it in between innings, and but they definitely compete and they're talented. So, we're going to roll with that because we have to roll with it.
She's the head coach of the UAlbany softball team, Chris Canada. Chris,
thanks, Joe.
As always, a pleasure. And again, I know I do this every week, but just a reminder, like us on Facebook, also follow us on Twitter. And we know you know about the site, but tell a friend it's UAlbanySports.com. I'm Joe Calderone. That's the latest edition of Coach's Corner. We'll see you next time. Take care.